Hey everyone and welcome back. Now in today's video we'll be discussing about the backup and restore in Consul. Now few important things that we need to remember here. First one is that all the servers write to the data dir before committing on a specific write request. So this specific data dir is quite important here. Also, Consul provides the snapshot command that saves pointing time snapshot of the state of a Consul server. Now, one of the questions that comes is what exactly does that snapshot can contain? So, some of the important data that is part of the snapshot includes your key value entries, your service catalog, your prepared queries, your sessions, your ACLs, and so on. So let's quickly look into the commands for overall snapshot and restore here. So in order to take a backup, you can go ahead and run a Consul snapshot, save, followed by the file name where your backup snapshot should be saved. So in this case, it is backup.snap. So if you want to restore from this specific backup, you can run Consul snapshot restore followed by the name of the file where the backup is stored. So the only difference between the two commands is save and restore. So it is very easy to remember. So let's do one thing. Let's jump into practical and understand things in more detail. So currently I'm connected to the Consul 01 server, and within the consul.d directory, we have just a single file called as consul.hcl. And if I quickly open this file, it is basically the configuration associated with the server. So let's do one thing. We'll be making use of this specific server for performing our backup and restore operations. Now first step, let's go ahead and quickly start our Consul. Let's quickly verify the status of Consul, and it is running. So let's go ahead and store some data in our Consul. So I'll say Consul kv boot name as backup1. So going back to the GUI, if you go to the key value, you have a key of name and it has a value of backup1. Now let's go ahead and try out the first command where we'll go ahead and take a backup of the Consul. So the command is Consul snapshot save followed by the name. So Consul snapshot save, let's call it as backups.snap. That's great. So now if you do a ls, you should see one more file called as backup.snap that is available. Now let's go ahead and delete the key that we had stored in the kv. So I'll say Consul kv delete name. So now going back to the key value again, you see it is an empty key value. So now let's do a restore from the backup.snap. So ideally backup.snap should have the key value that we had stored earlier. So I'll say Consul snapshot restore followed by the name of the file where the data is stored. That's great. So it states the snapshot has been restored. So now if you quickly refresh this page, you see you're able to see the name and the name has backup1. Great. So that's the very high level overview about the snapshot and restore procedure. Now few important things that we need to note here. First one is that the snapshot will not be saved if the data center is in the degraded or if no leader is available. Second is it is possible to run the snapshot on any non-leader server. So in case for high availability, you have multiple server nodes that are available. So you can take a snapshot on a non-leader server using stale consistency mode. However, there is a caveat here that basically means that a very small number of recent writes may not be included here. So let's quickly understand that. So within a data center, there can be multiple servers for high availability. Now we can take a snapshot directly from the server. However, if there is huge amount of data within the server, it can happen that things can slow down here. So what you can do is you can also take a snapshot on the follower. So this is the other servers that are part of the quorum here. Now the second point states that although you can take a snapshot from one of the followers using the stale consistency mode, but very small amount of recent writes may not be included. So although this seems to be fine, so here basically you have a replication that takes place into the picture. So the writes happen on the server which is the leader. So if you're directly taking from the follower, there is always a delta where some of the data will not be part of the backup. However, that is the recent data, not the older one. And third important part to remember here is that it is recommended to regularly take a backup in an automated way. So you can write a script which can go ahead and run these commands, and also make sure that you do not store this backup in the local system. You upload it to a storage like S3, which is much more reliable. Great. So with this, we'll conclude today's video.